Hey yo, what's up? You know what it is? The one and the only Professor L live in the laboratory, and I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. Come on in, come on in. Get your lab coats on, make sure you're nice and sterile, put your gloves on, don't touch nothing that you can't afford to replace, and come and take a seat. Yo, we live in the lab, baby, cause yo, another episode of Triple the Guy Speaks On, and you heard right, yo, we a change of venue, a change of alter egos as I show you and teach you how these L's are delivered and show you how to avoid taking these L's yourself. Is that yo, with Kamen Rider Bill doing this science thing, I figured, you know what I'm saying, it was time, to flip things up, you know what I'm saying, change things up because I have this opportunity. So Pastor L, he ain't gone nowhere. Pastor L ain't gone nowhere. It's just that Professor L needs to get y'all in the lab and properly get on the board and point out how these L's were delivered. And we're going to flip things up, change things up a little bit. So, yo, don't get confused. It's okay, yo. It's going to be the same old work you've come to love. It's just that, yo, we doing it in a different place. We'll be back to the synagogue soon. Special episodes, Pastor L ain't going nowhere, but Professor L, man, he going to take over. He going to show you what it do. But like I said, the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And yo, Uchu Sentai Kyuranger, Space.27, Indaver panic within the Orion. Yeah, let's see. How do I do this? Oh, this was a glorified clip show. We could go through the whole thing of I could go for the play-by-play. This was a clip show. A very involved clip show, but a clip show. Is that, let me see. Because I'm trying to sit up here and think, haven't we had a clip show already? I think we might have already. I think we might have had a clip show in this series. Given the amount of stuff that happens in the space and when it happens it's like, if there was a clip show and I'm just remembering it, but not remember exactly when it happened, probably believable. But the thing is, I do want to point out though, this is one of the more elaborate Sentai clip shows I've seen in quite a while, because usually, a lot of times the clip show usually revolves around the Raiders themselves get into some kind of pickle, and in order for them to get out the pickle, we need to remember what happened before, and we need to remind ourselves why we some gangsters so we can put in this work. This was not that. Because what I will say is that this episode has some actual plot relevance to the Time Squad, going back in time, trying to find out what's up with the boy Jark Matter, a.k.a. Don Omage, the little brother. Ooh, yeah. Trying to find out what's good with him. So, here's the setup for all of this. The setup for all this is, if you remember an episode ago, right? Everybody before Naga went all crazy, whatever, we chilling, eating the barbecue, you know what I'm saying, straight from Sandy J. Y'all who cooking up this work. These four Indaver have a plan to sneak aboard my uncle. So they can, I don't know, because the plot explains it as, we want to join the Kyurangers. Because early in the episode is Raptor is sitting at the controls, and she discovers that there are intruders on the ship, right? So it's like, we need to go catch them. So it's this nice little Benny Hill moment of everybody running around and catching stuff, and it's like, in the meantime, in the between time, it's like they trying to catch him, and then when Birdman and Sanji catch one, Birdman put the boot to this fool like you playing Bulletstorm, and then his helmet come off, and then he's able to speak. They then explain that Indivers are Indivers only when they have the helmets on, but when they're off, they're called Enda, and they're created by Jark Matter to put in Jark Matter's work, right? So they're able to speak normally and communicate normally back and forth. And then each of these Indivers, well, at least I want to say, well, the first two that get caught and interviewed are from a time when the Indivers got their ass whooped, and certain times when important things in Kyuranger history happened. The one that Birdman and Sanji gang up on, he's from episode 1, from when the meteor storm was happening and Lucky transformed for the first time, he was there and got knocked across the room. So why they said, because it's like it wasn't up until that point where the episode was functioning like a normal episode, and then it turned into a clip show all of a sudden. So the whole clip show thing just came out of complete left field of nowhere, because I wasn't expecting a clip show. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but at the same time, I didn't know the name of the episode before I watched it. So to sit up here and to have that information, maybe I could have sussed out myself, like maybe this might be a clip show. Probably wouldn't have at all, but that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so we sit here and after we get to confirm that this is the dude from the first episode, they sit up here. It's a clip show about how the Kyurangers become the Kyurangers and what's good with Kyureno. So there's a whole bunch of that. So there's no reason to explain stuff that we have spent 26 episodes previously before this one talking about, because you already know, because you watched it. So we sitting here is that Uncle Stinger and and Moo Moo Man, aka the Ibo Squad, they sitting up here. I'm like, Uncle Stinger got this one Indaver in the Walls of Jericho, and I'm like, what? Like, I didn't know you even knew how to do a Boston Crab. Because I'm trying to think, because it was more of a Boston Crab than it was the Walls of Jericho, because Uncle Stinger was actually down. He was actually down, like cranking it. Because Jericho usually stands up and then leans back, but he was already leaned back, so it was more of a Boston Crab than it was the Walls of Jericho, even though that is a derivative of that move. But why are we talking about wrestling moves right now? I don't know. This is just a review show. I just review the show, and sometimes things come up about wrestling. What can you really, really do about that? So while Uncle Stinger got him in the Walls of Jericho, Shinron Perp come through. He chasing another one down, and then this like Champ and Shinron Perp, they surround the Indaver, but Shinron Perp got back problems. And I think that this has been brought up once before, that he got some issues with his sciatica, because I remember specifically in this series, reviewing this show, saying the word sciatica. So the only person who old enough to have some damn sciatica issues, because they old as hell, would be Shinron Perp. So he having back problem, that allows the Indaver to get away, and then while the Ibo Squad go and chase the one that got away, because Shinron Perp got back problems, the one that Uncle Stinger had in the Walls of Jericho walk up to him like, yo, you okay, my dude? What's up, man? Hey, man, my back hurt, man. I can't get up. You know what I'm saying? Is that this Indaver, once we get into the clip show portion, reveals that he's the Indaver from the first time Japanese Justin transformed and got into his big form and hit that boot. So I thought that was an interesting little thing. And then what they did was they showed they did a little clip show about Japanese Justin and Shinron Perp when they joined the Kyurangers, with Shinron Perp doing a lot of the narrating for it. So there was that too. They do use that clip show, however, to give us a nice transition to the present day on Earth, while the squad's still looking for Naga, and it's like, Hammy still feel really, really guilty that this is all your fault, and if you really want to be technical about it, sweetie, it is all your fault. You told that boy, go explore your feelings. Your feelings are important. We'll believe in you. I'm a bad guy now. Destroy, destroy, destroy. Yep, all your fault. But seriously, they use this portion just to give us a little check-in about what's going on with the squad on present-day Earth, as they sit up here and they search for Naga, and they use this as a clip show to remind us that, well, you know, Naga wanted emotions, but then he turned bad, so it's like, what was the point of that? Well, I do understand the point of it in a clip show portion of, like, what was the point, but at the same time, like, what was the point? Like, it's, okay. When I think about it like this, is you need that just because you need to set up what's going on. But it's like, we, as in you and me, we watch this show every week, right? Why do we need a reminder that, you know, We met Naga. He ain't had no emotions. He's starting to gain them. Then, you know, somebody used that against him, and now he got a bad guy suit and it look kind of gangster now. And it's like, okay. But it's like, but when I watched it, it was kind of like, why are they doing this? Like, that, it's like, but my thing is, but that's my thing with clip shows sometimes. Like, unless the clip show has a point, which this kind of did, and we'll talk about that. How about I save that deep analysis to the end of this, where saying that sentence actually makes sense. So just to review whatever that was, we had some clips about Naga and Hammy sad because she did this to him, and there it was. Meanwhile, we back on the ship in the wormhole or whatever, and Ibo Squad, they still on the hunt for the purple one, and it ain't going good. They sitting up here chasing it, doing the usual Benny Hill stuff, tripping over tables, tripping over each other. Sandy J, come on, kill Tama, shoots it, and it wraps the thing in a chain. Because, you know, we need time to show you how these toys work, even though in real life. Because, you want to know what? I have a question. I do. I wonder, do toy commercials in Japan work like commercials in America? And I'm not just talking about commercials in general, but like, have you ever like watched like a car commercial or watched a commercial for something, selling something? Or cell phone commercials are probably the best example of this. Well, actually, all those commercials are the best example of what I'm finna get into, of where they have like the little star at the bottom, like, well, this don't work, or a Play-Doh. Don't put this in your mouth, you idiot. You know what I'm saying? I wonder, do Japanese toy commercials work like that? That when they talk about Q-timers or whatever, like, this don't actually do what it do. It just make noise. I'm going to have to research that, because that's something that has always, like, legitimately been on my mind. Do commercials, like, for these toy commercials, because the whole point of the show is to sell a toy, right? So if the whole point of the show is to sell a toy, you don't want to misrepresent the toy you're selling, but at the same time, do you do what Japanese people think, that, well, we got more common sense than to understand that it's not going to work exactly like it do in the show that you're trying to promote. I'm going to research that, and I'm going to get back to y'all. But, speaking of Q-timers, we have a clip show about Q-timers and their various incarnations, how they work, whether they let you transform, whether you can use it for offense or defensive attack, or special dumb, ignorant, stupid stuff, because this is a kid show, and we got to do that, so there you go. So, They wrap all of this Q-timer stuff around in their search for the Argos and ultimately summon Birdman. And then Harvey Birdman, I'm not that guy. See, I was thinking of the wrong thing. Otori Tsurugi, the legend boy. See, I'm like, my head is like everywhere this morning. I swear to God. Like, my head is like everywhere. I'm like, my head is everywhere. But what I meant to say is, what my name is, Birdman. See, I got so many damn references in my head, I can't even keep up with them. But yeah, they use this to wrap around to show Birdman's the legend. Birdman puts in work. Birdman. So, after all of this, we back on the bridge, and of my uncle, and they like, yo, what we gonna do with these fools, right? Like, Birdman like, yo, let's just toss him into the space-time continuum, man. They'll land somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't got to do nothing about that. So they go back and forth for a while. And then Uncle Stinker has the idea of, well, won't we just ask them what it is we need to know about dark matter, and then we won't have to go in time because we'll already know the answer. As soon as Uncle Stinker say that, plot surprise, hey, it was 5 of us. I'm like, look, like, hey, yo, what's up, man? I'm the red one. Hey, look, fam. My homeboy stalled y'all out. Now we finna take over the ship. We gonna wreck your stuff. Get done. And that's exactly what happens. They get done. I'm like, they sit up here and say they master plan. Akiyama sit there to make sure they didn't go back in time. And they succeed in this, and then it's like, after they come back from a commercial break, you see the Q Rangers just jumping out of something. It's like, I'm not going to sit up here and try to make logical sense of who landed the ship, how the ship was landed, because the Indavers mess with the controls. So we just going to take it as something that they crash landed the ship. We'll just go with that. That makes my head hurt less. Let's just go with the thing that makes turns his head hurt less. Let's just do that, alright? So, they crash the ship, Q Rangers land on the joint, and they sit up here like they trying to figure out what we gonna do. The funniest thing in this episode happened. Like, right after they land, it's this big dinosaur, right? And it's like, Uncle Stinger like, yo, that's dark matter? Man, you got eyeball, let's get this fool. And then Birdman screaming, that's not Donald Mage, calm down. I was like, wow. I'm like, huh, say what now? And I'm like, no. I'm like, that was funny and ignorant at the same time. I'm like, they said a thought a dinosaur was Donald Mage. I started laughing so hard. I was like, yo, this show clowning too much for me right now. But meanwhile, though, the Indaver squad, they're in the cut. They're like, yo, we can take these fools. We can take them. What you mean we can take them? You mean we can take? Hell yeah, I mean we can take them. Cause look, this is what we gonna do. You see him? He think he the hotness. That dude right there, he call himself Birdman or something like that. That's what I heard they call him. But look, we gonna get this fool. We gonna get this fool. So if we separate him from the rest of them, we can take the rest of them. Man, y'all down with the squad? I bet, let's do it. So they use that as a transition to go back down to the Earth on the present day, and it's like you see the squad, they all sad. I can understand why they all sad. They homie didn't turn evil and now can shoot laser beams from his chest. I'd be kind of sad too if my homeboy was once my homeboy, but now can shoot laser beams from his chest. I'd be sad too. It's like Japanese Justin. He sits up here wondering, like, yo, like what's wrong? What's up with the rest of the crew? They sit up here. And they like, man, they'll be cool, man. They got Birdman with them, man. Wolf sitting up here like, man, Birdman, dog. I thought we still had beef with him, Lucky. I thought we still had beef, fam. Nah, we ain't got beef no more, cuz. He cool, man. He fam. And then they show more Birdman stuff. They show Birdman putting in work. So Birdman. So then they use this as a transition back to Birdman. And they like, the Indavers come out. They're like, yo, hey, look. You don't need them. I'm like, I thought you was the greatest. You was a legend. I thought you could do this yourself. I'm like, what happened? Like, you know what? You right. I could do this by myself, and you have a valid point that I could. But you see these folks? I'm gonna build this legend, and they part of the legend. So you gotta respect it and check it. You know what I'm saying? Team Unity, all that. Unity, that spells unity. So they spell unity, and you know what I'm saying? It's like the Indavers like, man, we don't care, man. You ain't gonna fall for our plan. Whatever. We gonna show you what we did. Hey, yo, squad, put in work. And then the other funniest thing in this episode happened. The Indaver straight bust a pose. I'm like, no. Sit up here and give them like little cutscenes and everything. They sit up here, oh, this is nuts. I'm like, why is this happening? And then after they sit up here and bust a pose, it's dark, man. It's a picture of Donald Maya in the sky, and he snap his fingers, and explosions start popping off. Like, you know how after like a Sentai squad like busts off the pose, right? And they sit up here like, yo, we the squad, and all these explosions happen. Snapping his fingers, they get scared by the explosions, and then the explosions do damage to them. And I'm just like, why? I'm like, it's really good that when a show can look in on itself and do dumb stuff like that. Like, the whole fake Sentai do a pose thing happens more often than you think it would, but when it happens and it's done right, it is really funny, and this is an example of it being really, 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 really funny. So it's like shit Ron Perp like, yo, man, we don't even need the henching to bust a move on these fools. We gonna bust a move on it anyway. So they sit up here and bust a move, no henching, dog. They sit up here like, yo, we the squad. Hold up. Q Ranger squad. Sit up here, bust a pose. I'm gonna sit up here like, no. But nah, son. We not gonna do that. No. But they bust a pose. But the thing you expect to happen does indeed happen. Right after they bust the pose, that sciatica acting up again. It fell over. I'm like, it's like at this point, this is a really good clip show. This is a really good clip show because the show is taking time to like introduce some real comedy into this. I'm like, this is nuts. And of course, you know what happened next. After the Sentai team that bust the pole, so you know who's finna get their ass kicked. And that's exactly what happens. They sit up here and it's like, and it's more, it's like funny stuff in a row. They sit up here like, well, we ain't transformed, but how we supposed to finish these fools? All you hear is, come on the change in the background, and you got Birdman like, yo, I'm finna finish him. You better duck down. Everybody duck down. I know we was on that other video. Jay said when Empire was coming back, but everybody duck down. J-Mo, son, everybody duck down. And everybody ducks down. And then he hit him with the Phoenix Endo, and they gone. It's a wrap for them. And the day was saved thanks to clip shows. Of course, Bubbles did work because Bubbles is the best, is the cutest, and can talk to squirrels. But it was all thanks to clip shows and the power of the clip show that the enemy was defeated, even though it wasn't really an enemy for real, but it was an enemy. If only they got away with it. So after everybody ducked down, we back on my uncle. And they sitting up here like, yo, Perp laid up. He like, yo, my sciatica, it hurt real bad. And Birdman like, yo, hey, yo, I should be leader. No. You not commander. No. You ain't putting in no work. You need to chill out. Like, I know I might be a cripple right now. You know what I'm saying? But I believe in the dragon-based god. There is one of those, by the way. That he will heal my back and make me better than ever. Man, I'm finna go watch some old Monday Nitro, like, for real. Like, I have been, like, I got the WWE Network, and it's like, I sat down and, like, watched, like, the first couple of Nitros and remember where I was when I was watching them, right? Like, I remember the first episode of Monday Nitro, for real. Let's just put it out there, and one day we'll talk about it, but I remember when Lex Luger showed up on that first episode of Monday Nitro. I remember where I was. Watching live at the crib. Never forget it. Regardless of that, is that they used this episode, the Time Squad used this episode to confirm that they on the right track. That if Akiyama had sent these Indavers to intercept them, to do whatever they could to stop them from going back in time, Dark Matter, and to an extension and more importantly, Don Omega is protecting the secret about how or why this happened. So it should be interesting to see, like, what is this gonna come up? Because again, my theory has always been that Dark Matter isn't who he is. That my thing honestly is that Birdman put in the work, but one of his homies picked up the mantle of Don Omega. That's always been my theory, and it's been my running theory since before Birdman came. Since I want to say that I thought about that like as something that when they start mentioning, like especially right when Birdman came back and they was talking about him or whatever, that there was some history and that he been around this long, that there's something fishy about that. And I got a feeling that's one of Birdman's homies. You know what I'm saying? Because the only homie that we know about that got a name is that, it's like, we got that Cuervo dude, and I remember they mentioned some character named Orion, at least, that Eris girl did, so it's probably one of his homies betraying him or whatever, but that would make for good plot, though, if that's how they want to go and go do that. But we'll see. Well, that is that. That is an episode of Uchu Sentai Kyuranger. I'm like, yo, I'm glad we can have this time. I'm like, I know I'm flipping the script a little bit on y'all, but given, you know what I'm saying, given what things are and what things are about to be, is that I needed this opportunity to really, to dial it back a little bit, to get more into analysis and less of retelling and recounting episodes, because that isn't really analysis. And I was having fun doing that because, when I started doing it on XA, it was fun and it bled into Kyuranger, and I didn't know how to stop it. But with XA being over and with Bill being out and me trying to take a little back step and a back pedal and how I want to review that, I felt that, that I can still do all the fun stuff, but I could condense it a little more so I ain't holding you hostage forever. But we'll work on that, you know what I'm saying? I'll work on trying to find a work-life balance, because this episode, because this review, you know what I'm saying, as I think about what it was that we talked about and what we did it was a lot more balance between analysis and fun stuff than it was more fun stuff, less analysis. And I'm trying to find, the balance between the two. So, just chill with me, you know what I'm saying, as we figure out this new Professor L business as we get down how we get down. So, thank you very much for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And yes, I know I'm one episode behind, but that'll be done sooner than you think. And I got other stuff that I need to get to and review, and I'll probably try to get a lot of it out before the end of the week to try to at least get caught up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get up out of here. You know what it is. It's the one and the only Professor L, live in the LAB. And I'd like to thank you for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And with that being said, come on the chin!